Greetings and welcome to Into the Pit. If you like my channel, drop me a like below and subscribe for many more reviews and interviews coming up. The mighty Slayer have called it a day quite a while ago and decided they no longer want to be the kings of thrash. However, Kerry King has announced that he wants to continue. There's no telling with whom, besides Paul Bostaph, who of Slayer fame. Speculations are going around that Phil Anselmo might be the vocal part of the band, but with the Pantera reunion, who knows? Not so sure. And whoever will be doing second guitar and bass, we have no idea. Sometimes I think, I've got a hunch, I might be completely wrong, but Craig Locicero on second guitar? It's just a thought, I don't know. Anyway, I'd like to talk a little bit about one of Slayer's greatest albums and one of my favorite thrash albums, South of Heaven. Now, Slayer changed the musical landscape with Rain and Blood, and that was, to me, always the thrash album that, next to Dark Angels, Darkness Descends, that it's unrivaled in ferocity and short and to the point and in your face. And the atmosphere transported on Rain is seldom topped by any other artist or release. Magically, Slayer transported the gloom into South of Heaven, whilst being a bit more variable, bringing in more variety. They didn't go and top or try to top Rain and Blood in terms of speed. They brought in slower parts, more gloomy parts. Hanneman's eerie riffs are even more effective with some of the slow-paced material. It's almost like the band is dragging you across a bed of nails, whereas Rain and Blood was just a shredder, and in a few seconds it was over. This album mauls you, and tracks like South of Heaven, the title track, Silent Scream, Live Undead, Behind the Crooked Cross, Mandatory Suicide. I mean, if Black Sabbath set out to create horror music, influenced by horror movies, then I think Slayer perfected it on this album. It sounds so scary and gloomy, and you can literally put yourself in that situation, especially with Mandatory Suicide, like war, death. Then they go back to High Speed, Ghosts of War, Read Between the Lines, Cleanse the Soul. Then there's a cover version of Judas Priest's Dissident Aggressor, second last track, and they end the album on Spill the Blood. Last two tracks are not like, to me the album takes a little bit of a dip right there, but still the other tracks before that really outshine everything, and they make it worthwhile. So no, it's a really and this is probably the best sounding Slayer album in my opinion ever. I think what makes this album so lethal and potent is the drum work of Dave Lombardo, a drummer that actually still played with really great fills and really underlined the guitar work perfectly. And so it wasn't all just about speed and double bass. It was about arms, handwork. Also contributing to the deadly sound on this are the guitars. And if you listen closely, you'll find that they aren't over-distorted. They are almost clean sounding, and it makes it the more potent, because you don't have this mush in the guitar sound, this muddiness. Everything is clear, razor sharp, and in your face, and so many decades later, this album hasn't lost its impact. It's aged like a damn good wine, and I don't think they've ever sounded this good again. Seasons of the Abyss was great, clear sound as well. But in my opinion, it's got a slightly less punch than this one, Later on, they would bring out albums with terrible sound, like World Painted Blood, unfortunately. And maybe Rick Rubin completely let them just fool around on their own in the studio and had no supervision at all anymore. I don't know what happened there, but yeah, then God Hates Us All came back, and that had a crushing sound again. But this, to me, is classic Slayer. And it's unrivaled. It just hasn't been topped, in my opinion. So I'm not going to go say check it out because most of you probably own this. This is just my 2 cents on one of the greatest thrash albums of all time. See you next time.